Okay. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good morning. Hey, thank you for joining this new live today. Today we have a really great topic, and I want to start with this. I want to start with the serious question for you guys. Do you actually know if your wholesale price is profitable? Have you ever asked this question? Because, I have seen so many distributors sells millions in revenue, but still struggling with margins. And most of the time, the problem isn't price, is because the price it doesn't match. You know what I mean? So today I'm going to show you the simple formula for calculating the wholesale pricing, which is important for your business. And we're gonna give you a free calculator to do it in seconds. So you guys gonna have the tools. And later on, I'm gonna tell you how you can download it, but it's gonna be really interesting. So one of the points that we're gonna be covering today is the wholesale pricing problem. This is a problem if you don't really pay attention to what's going on with the price. So many distributors price products are based on guesswork. They just visualize the competitors, and some of the common mistakes that are the small distributors are doing, especially when they're starting their business, is copying competitor pricing. They just go say, okay, that's the price, so I'm gonna try to compete with them. It's a good point to start, but it could become a problem. Second, arbitrary markups. So that's another thing that it's a mistake for the distributors. And the third is forgetting operational costs. This is crucial. You gotta know how much whatever you have is costing you. What are the price? What are the costs that are involved in order to get, or if you're a manufacturer, in order to create the product, and if you're wholesalers, what are all the costs involved? All the costs involved to get the product onto you to your warehouse, right? The other one is ignoring margin targets. That's another thing that is really important. So wholesale pricing should always start with the formula. So otherwise, you are risking profitability without you even knowing. So second, the basic wholesale pricing formula. So some key factors that you need to include in this. First of all, it's product cost. You got to know how much it costs, right? Desired wholesale margin. So if you're a wholesaler, you got to know and say, hey, look, under this margin for the product that I sell, I cannot go under, because it won't get me in problems to cover all the other costs that I have to do the distribution. You know what I mean? So the other key factor is retail price position. So you got to be competitive in that matter. And the last one, plus any retail discount. In order to sell more, you got to be competitive, and you got to come up with the right strategies for the discount. So let me explain this briefly. If your product, if you have a product that costs $10 and you want a 40% margin, because that's what you have already established, the wholesale price needs to account for that margin structure, meaning minus any discounts you use to encourage new customers sign up. So this is where many distributors miscalculate. They think that they're making any specific margin, but in reality they're not, because they're not considering all the different variants. So now I'm gonna be sharing a free calculator. Please, if you guys are interested, make sure you put free wholesale calculator on the chat, and we'll put the link so that way you can you can download it. So step number one, let me go ahead and show you my calculator. Just a second. Let me see if I can share my screen, and let me know if you guys are seeing my screen. Okay. So I guess you're seeing my screen. Basically, this is what
we can see it.
Perfect, perfect. Look, this is a very simple tool that is going to help you a lot understand if your product pricing makes really sense. So first, you need to start with the market price. So what is the market price? What is the what is the typical retail price out there in the field? So what your competitors are selling for, that tells you how much customers are willing to pay. So knowing the typical retail price, you're gonna know where to start, and then you can apply a small discount. Remember, in order to be competitive, you need to think, hey, look, in order to be more effective and sell more, I gotta consider some discount in order to be more competitive. And next, you choose how much margin, and that's the key. How much margin you need in order to in order to be competitive for that product. So in this case, take a look at this. In product number one, if this one, you know already the cost, right? If it is $3 and the retail price is $10, you consider a 5% discount, and you say, hey, look, the retailer margin, in order for them, remember, the retailer is the one who sells the product to the final consumer. So you say, hey, look, I'm going to consider a 20%, a 30% to the retailer in order to have the right incentive to sell more. And what would be my wholesaler prices? Usually the wholesaler prices is a little lower. It could be 20. Again, depending on what you trying to accomplish, because you're gonna sell volume, right? So that's the key on this. So automatically, once you do that, it'll tell you what is the manufacturer price, profit, and margin. Same thing with the wholesalers, and what is the retail price. And if you notice, you're still gonna be competitive. This is the retail price. The retail price, we're targeting competitors is $10. So $9.50 is what the retailer is gonna be selling them, but still they're gonna have a 30% margin. I'm sorry, their margin, which is become a profit. And you can do that with a different product, and start playing with the products that you have. So if you notice, that's really, really important. So again, going back to where we are, look, let me do this just a second. Okay, so now quick recap for any of you guys joining. We're talking about how to calculate wholesale pricing correctly. I'm also showing how to use it, right? But if you have any questions or anything, just type in calculator in the comments, and we'll share the link so that way you can download the free calculator. And we're gonna, and if you have any doubts, you can contact us at any time. So again, because pricing match can get confusing, we have created a wholesale price calculator for distributors and CPG brands. So it calculates your wholesale price instantly without a headache, and just type calculator. So again, I hope this help you set up the prices in a smarter way and protect your profit. I am Frank, the Wholesale Pro, and I will see you next live. Remember, every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a wonderful day.